Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan, and the topic of this 10-minute moan is a branch day update just been released by Police Scotland. Now, before I start, if you want to support the channel, you can become a channel member, or you can subscribe, which is free, or even just click the thumbs up button whenever you see a video. That's a great help to help the channel spread. So, Police Scotland on their website and through social media channels have just released the following press release. Operation Branchform report submitted to Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service. Police Scotland have today, Thursday the 23rd of May 2024, submitted a prosecution report to the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service in relation to a 59-year-old man who was charged on the 18th of April 2024. I don't think we need to go to Google to figure out and remember who that is. In connection with the embezzlement of funds from the Scottish National Party. Investigations continue and we are unable to comment further. So, what does that mean? Well, what it means is the police have now, as the Chief Constable suggested in recent round of interviews after her celebrating her year in the job, where she went round a few different mainstream outlets and gave different journalists interview time, and obviously the majority of them asked her about Branchform, in which she said that report would be submitted within weeks. So that was about a fortnight ago, so she was good for her word. And basically what that means is the police have now filled out all the paperwork, the report on the charges, which they charged this man, who, you guess who it was, 59-year-old man who was charged on the 18th of April. So they would push that up to the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Services, who will then decide, using the balance of probability, a number of things. Is the case worth pursuing in the public interest? Do they have enough evidence to probably successfully prosecute? And then start the process of court if that's what they decide. Now, a lot of people, when they heard the news, instantly thought, well, if that's what they've done, submitted the paperwork, that'll be just the only person that's getting charged. However, there are another two individuals, if you remember, who were arrested last year and about the same time as Morel, and were released pending further investigation. Then I remind you of two words in the last sentence of this press release that says investigations continue. Now, one would need to use common sense and logic to devise the opinion that that would be people other than the 59-year-old man who was charged on April 18th, 2024. You would kind of suggest and kind of think that those investigations into him have completed. So I would suggest that these investigations continuing are looking at other people who may or may not be in connection with embezzlement of funds from the Scottish National Party. It's quite straightforward that in this press release, the police, Scotland, highlight the charges of embezzlement of funds. I have to remind you that previous statements and leaked information from Police Scotland to newspapers suggested that the Branchform investigation was also investigating stolen goods, reset, etc., etc. So, if they're investigating that, I would suggest they're not investigating the 59-year-old man who was recently charged for embezzlement. And that would suggest to me that other people have been investigated for the other crimes that Branchform have already allowed information to get in the public domain, which was handling stolen goods and reset. So, I don't think it's over. Those who think, oh, here, that's great, as a result, when will he be in court? I've taken some advice from people who deal with these sort of things, and they're suggesting it could be 18 months before there's any court date, and that would give those charged, if it progresses to that level, those charged would be given the opportunity to plead guilty or not guilty, and that could take about 18 months with the full trial. Because of the nature of the crime, suggestions have been made to me that could take about 3 years, at least 2 to 3 years from now, before these people charged, if it goes that far, before we actually started the trial to decide, let the judge and the court decide if they are guilty or not guilty. So this, although it's been ongoing for about 3 years, it's still quite a long way from concluding. The only thing that can conclude earlier is if at any point the police and or Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service decided that no charges were going to be faced and there was going to not be any court case. So a lot of people are still totally convinced that will be it and it'll not get any further. Although nothing would surprise me, right? Just the state of Scottish politics just now and the establishment within Scotland, how crazy it is. I nearly said another word starting with C and ending in T there, but I'll leave that because that could be an allegation. But it is a bit crazy. And a lot of people feel that either nobody will be charged or just one person will take the blame for everybody and protect other people. I like to have a wee bit more faith in society, although that is dwindling. And I would still like to give time, and we'll see what the next few weeks bring for this investigation. And that may or may not involve other people being rearrested or newly arrested and potentially charged. But if I was a betting man, that's where my money would be. There would be others because of this line saying investigations continue. Once it gets to the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service, I think anybody in there that was to make a decision that it wasn't in the public's interest to pursue these cases, I think it would be a bit silly. I think if this, because it's been so long, because it's been so costly, because it's been so played out in public, I just think that anybody that was thinking of putting it in the bin now would be making a very, very brave and dire decision. Because I can imagine the public getting really upset if this was to get put in the bin. Nobody wants to see civil unrest, especially over stuff like this. And I think it's a very, very clear cut, and I'm not talking about stuff that's not already out there. It's very obvious that the £600,000 that was alleged to have been embezzled isn't there anymore, because the SNP's accounts are publicly accessible and they don't have £600,000 in the bank. So there's definitely something happened to the money. And I think if this case was not to be pushed through into a full court where the law will decide and the law of the land will decide if there's been any criminality involved, I genuinely can't see that happening, despite so many other bits of evidence on other types of corruption and things like that, to be perfectly honest with you, in society these days, and I'm not aiming that at the Crown Office, that maybe I shouldn't be so understanding and wholesome in my thoughts and the way I think this will pan out. But I just genuinely still believe that this will continue in the right direction, and I cannot see anybody thinking it would be a good idea to stop the prosecution and or the court cases, potential court cases at this point. It would just be, the reaction would just be, well, I think it would be quite an unsafe environment if that was to happen. I think there's too many people in the public in Scotland that to try and put it under the carpet at this point, this late stage, I just can't see it. I genuinely can't see it. So, what do I think is going to happen? I think the investigations will be continuing for other people accused, and who knows, will they be arrested and charged? I don't know, but I think that at least the guy who's been already charged will face his day in court. I can't see any other outcome for him. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you are anybody other than the people looked at in Branchform Everybody else have a great day. Cheery bye now.